This is Sharon Livingston, and I'm here with Shawn Miller. And Shawn, you graduated just a couple of weeks ago, like within the past 10 days, right?
Yes, I did.
Well, congratulations, and it's really a pleasure having you in the program. And I guess there were a couple of different things that I wanted to do, and one of them was to have you talk a little bit about what life was like before you even considered becoming a professional coach. What was going on in your life?
I was actually looking for a different career because of the fact I've been a truck driver for 30 years. I've tried internet marketing and everything else, and that wasn't right for me. The things that I was doing was very unfocused. And I felt that if I got involved with the coaching, I would actually become more focused.
What kind of things had you
And
considered before?
oh, shoot, I've got 40 different sites online. I have done dating sites. I've done several different sites. You've got Truckers Health, dating, and just crazy stuff. Time wasters.
How did you learn about coaching and what made you consider it?
I've actually been thinking about coaching for a long time. I just didn't know the right way to go.
What was it about coaching? What drew you to it?
I've actually worked with other people several times and helped people deal with their problems. And I've done it on my own. I've actually trained drivers how to drive trucks through using techniques that I learned years ago.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like what?
I actually taught them how to communicate with people, meaning we deal with shippers and receivers. There's situations where, okay, you might have to set for hours on end to get loaded. But you teach these drivers how to deal with the shipper. I'll tell you what, 9 times out of 10, if you go in and you handle the situation properly, they're going to get you loaded and get you out on the road. You speak to them in a polite manner, in a way that they realize that they're not going to upset you. And you'll get loaded and you'll get out on the road, able to do the rest of your job. Did a lot of that training.
What changed? Like what happened in the last year or so? What drove you to check out our program? I mean, how did that all start?
Well, I know that I've got to get out of the truck because of the fact I injured my back. I actually broke my back a year ago. That was my birthday present to me.
Oh, no.
Doing my job as a truck driver the day of January 25th last year, I broke my back.
How did you do that?
I was trying to unload my truck. I was having to unload my truck and push totes of oil. My trailer was not at a down position. It was actually up toward the dock, and I'm having to push 5,000-pound totes on a pallet jack up the hill. Not an easy task, but I got it done. I twisted at a point that I realized, okay, I did a problem. I dropped to my knees. Even after dropping to my knees, I said, okay, I'm going to deal with this. And I finished unloading the trailer. Well, after I got finished unloading the trailer, my legs had gone to the point that they were numb. Now I'm getting to the point, I worked with a chiropractor, dealing with the back and everything. And now I've gotten to the point that I'm driving down the road. I'll drive 10 hours or whatever, the amount of time that I can drive, that I need to drive. I get to the end of the day, and I can't walk by the end of the day. My legs are numb from the waist down, and I'm saying, okay, we're stuck, but we're going to deal with this. A lot of that is because of the bouncing down the road. So I need to get out of the truck so that I can keep my health, keep my walking.
What did you do at that time? I mean, who fixed your back?
I went to a chiropractor and dealt with it that way until the day the chiropractor told me, he says, I think we need to send you out so you can have a sleeve put around your spine. And I said, I'm not doing that. I refuse to let anybody open my back. They're not going to do surgery on me. Mentally, I've had to force myself to keep going.
So what's the state of your back now?
It's creating problems for me. I have problems still. At the end of the day, when I get done driving, it goes numb. My legs go numb. And my dog is sitting there waiting for me to take him outside, and it takes me about a half an hour before I can even move.
I'm so sorry, Shawn. I had no idea.
Oh, yeah. It's been like that for quite a while. But I deal with it. I've learned to deal with it. I've learned to overcome it.
So one of the things is you injured yourself. Had you considered coaching seriously before, and like why not, and then why this time?
I have thought seriously about coaching, and financially I couldn't do it. I couldn't get the training I felt that I needed. And then when I really did some searching, some soul searching and everything, I decided, okay, it's time to figure this out. And then I actually called different schools to see if I could speak to people to get their information. And when Glenn personally called me back, that was the day I made the decision that, okay, he's willing to take his time and communicate with me. I'm willing to take my time and go through his school.
It's really cool.
Because it meant more to me than an email. I mean, he could have sent me an email. I don't think it would have caused me to sign up at that point in time. But when he spoke to me, and then he tried to talk me out of going to the school.
Oh, really?
In the sense that he was saying, Shawn, just do the first session. Before you make any decision, just do the first session. The $25. Before you make any decisions that this is what you're going to do. I said, no, Glenn, no, just get everything worked out so I can start class. I said, because if I start this, I'm not going to stop.
What was it about what he said that made you feel like he wanted to start it and really do it?
He took the time and the fact that he trained you with the marketing, the training I learned. But what caused me to look at the training then was the fact that, okay, you got training in the marketing, you got training in the coaching, you're getting everything that you need to start your business. Where a lot of the coaching classes I looked at, it was just coaching. They didn't teach you the marketing. And when he told me that a big part of it was the marketing, wow, that meant more to me than just the coaching, because I know how to get my coaching across to people.
That's awesome. What did you find surprising about the program?
What surprised me? There was a lot that surprised me. The fact that you had the one-on-one coaching that you guys set up with Michael, that's a strong part of the practice. The fact that you and Glenn both take your time and make sure that your students understand what they need to understand during the practice. The weekly calls that you offer, that we actually get to come in and we get to discuss things. That was a big surprise there. It wasn't all just book work.
So when you first started doing your practices with the other coaches, what was that like?
That was fun, actually learning how to talk to the other coaches. And through learning to talk to the other coaches, you actually learn to find yourself.
Say more about that.
I found a deeper part of me that I knew was there, but I thought I'd thrown it away a long time ago. I found what I needed to work with instead of what I thought I was going to work with. I thought I was going to work with drivers and teaching them how to communicate with dispatchers. And I actually felt that there are more people that need my help in dealing with the bereavement of a lost child or a lost pet. There's more people that needed that than there were of the other thing that I was thinking about.
Your passion for what you wanted to work on changed?
Totally and completely, yes.
How did that happen? I mean, it's clear to me that did happen, but how did that happen?
I really don't know, other than speaking to people, dealing with the coaching and dealing with the training that you guys give. It made me look deeper within myself to see where I could really help people. What have I been through in my life that I could help other people get through? And it was all based on the training and the time taken with working with other coaches that came about.
It's really amazing because you have an amazing story that I hope you'll get to tell me in a few minutes. But yeah, I didn't realize that you had started out wanting to coach truckers. In the back of my mind now, I'm remembering that, but you've been so involved in bereavement and loss that I can hardly remember that.
Yeah. The bereavement and loss is something that I honestly believe and feel people need my help with because I've been there. I've deeply been there. I've been sitting here creating another site. It's actually brought out memories of a pet that I had that lost his life due to somebody poisoning him.
Oh, my goodness.
And you hear these things all the time, people poisoning the pet. People, I knew somebody that actually accidentally ran over her pet.
Right. Gosh, I've heard that too many times. Wow.
Oh, yeah, you hear that. There's different things that happen that people need help because so many people look at their pets are even closer than their family. I know my dog is.
Hmm.
I've got a dog that I take in the truck with me all the time, and if something happened to him, I'd be in trouble. You guys, the training that you gave really caused me to go deep and realize, okay, am I ready to help these people deal with this? And yeah, that's why I decided that through your training, it kind of brought me to the bereavement coaching side.
Hmm. So I'm curious, like, as you were thinking all this through, what were some of the obstacles and what helped you get through it?
The obstacles on getting into the coaching classes or the obstacles on coming to the bereavement?
Both.
Okay, the obstacles for class were finances, but Glenn made a statement on the site that he'd work with anybody or anybody could work with it. And the fact that he says, I'll work with it the way you need it. He says, I will work with you the way you need it. And he did. He put everything into line so that it worked for me. So that worked out well.
Hmm.
To get back to the bereavement, I didn't really want to face it. I didn't want to open it up again. The coaching sessions, the training sessions, the practice sessions opened things up in me that I didn't want to open up, but they opened them in me in a way that they weren't painful anymore.
How did you move from working with truckers to that? How did it come about? Because, nobody was saying, so Shawn, you want to be a coach for other people who drive truck? Tell me about your life. I don't get how it happened. It's so amazing to me and it's so cool.
To honestly say how it happened, Michael McCarroll was a real strong part of that because he helped me do the keyword searching, and there really was nothing that could be pulled up for working with that drivers were looking for. But then when I told him that after practicing with, I don't even remember women that I practiced with, after speaking to her, then Michael McCarroll, I mentioned it to him, and he says, I think we can work with this. So I kind of got myself with Michael McCarroll helping me with keyword search and everything, kind of helped me guide myself to that point that I needed to work with the bereavement.
So cool. Michael has a lot of depth of feeling.
Oh, yeah. And the fact that I was able to tell him some stories that I dealt with, some things that I had dealt with, and he took the time to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the first time I communicated with Michael, my dog kept going nuts. I was actually in a position that we were working around my schedule, and my schedule actually had me going into a truck wash at the time that I was working with Michael. I'm able to work in my truck, sitting in my driver's seat. I've got my computer here, everything. But the way things lined up, I had to do it while I was on the job instead of what was planned where I wouldn't be on the job. I had to do it while I was on the job. So I'm in a truck wash and my dog going nuts.
Funny.
But Michael still helped me right through that situation.
Very cool. I'm going to ask you to tell me your story because I think you have an incredible story. Before we do, what would you tell people who are considering becoming coaches? What advice might you give them? What specific advice for new coaches or people considering starting a practice?
I would tell them that Glenn and Sharon are fabulous people.
Well, of course.
Uh,
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. The personal guidance that you get from both of you is just so helpful in leading you down the proper road and keeping you focused. The time you took with the IMTJ or whatever that program was,
The MBTI.
and the time you took with that was so helpful for me that I think that was another thing that I didn't add in there, but that was another reason that I sort of changed my programming.
Was taking a look at your personality profile?
Yes, that meant a lot.
And what was it about that? See if you can recall.
I don't know. I'd have to look back to see what it was, but it was just the fact that you sent me the information. I took the time to read it, and it was information about me. And I'm saying, okay, well, do I really want to work with drivers with this kind of attitude that I didn't realize I had? No, I'm more helpful than just dealing with drivers.
What else would you tell new coaches? In general, what advice would you give them?
Take your time to listen, especially in the training. Take the time to read the information, because the information that you get is very helpful in guiding you down the path you need to go. Go to as many of the classes that you can get to. And I'm talking the weekly calls, the Friday afternoon call, the one with Glenn, and he's mostly in marketing, but the Saturday morning call with you, Sunday night call with Denise. Those are all excellent calls to go to. Monday night with you, I went to as many as I could go to. And I'm still coming to tell them you need to get me in these practices, these classes, because they will help.
Awesome. Anything you might want to tell them, regardless of whether it has to do with us or not, but about their choice to be a coach, what might be inspiring to them or motivating or supportive?
If you've ever thought about coaching, don't put it off. It's time to do it, because there's a lot of people out there that need your help. There's a lot of people that want your help. So learn the proper techniques to help them.
Sounds awesome. I've been keeping people waiting here. I would love to have you tell your story and how you decided to become a bereavement coach. It's a wonderful story. So do you have a few more minutes to tell me that? I know you've got a little girl there.
Yes, I've got a few minutes to tell you.
I would love to hear.
I became a bereavement coach because of the fact that people need help in bereavement. At the age of 25, I lost my daughter in a house fire.
Oh, my goodness. I remember that you lost her, but I didn't realize it was a house fire. And it just chills me to even hear that. How old was she?
She was 4 years old when it happened, and her mother died the same day.
Oh, my goodness.
That was a part of my life that I wanted to forget. I'll never forget it. I will never forget it. So it's time to help other people that are going through the pain.
How did that happen? How did they get trapped in the house? What happened?
I was not married to the woman that had my daughter, but she made the mistake of putting dinner on, and my daughter was 4 years old, left my daughter at the house alone for just a couple of minutes to step half a mile down the road. I'm not totally for what happened, but what happened was she went to the store to grab something to bring right back to the house. Well, in her trip to go to the store, she was killed in a car accident.
Oh, my gosh.
And my daughter was there alone at the house. And because she had put the supper on, the house burned. My daughter couldn't get out. I was not in their lives at the time, but I had to deal with the pain that it had happened. I was communicating with my daughter. I should explain that I was not in the life of my daughter's mother, other than I would communicate with my daughter. And then one day I received a phone call saying what had happened, the day that it happened. And it was over. I couldn't do anything about it.
How long after it happened did you learn about it?
The same day.
How did you find out?
I received a phone call from a deputy sheriff.
How far were you away from them?
I was about 300 miles away when it happened. I was on the road.
What did you do?
Turned my truck around and went to do what I could do, which was nothing except for take care of the funeral arrangements.
What an incredibly crazy, crazy turn of events.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what was going through your mind? Did you know they had both passed at that point as you're driving home?
No, I actually didn't know that both had passed until I got there.
As you were driving home, what was going through your mind? What had they told you?
I thought they both had died in the house fire. I didn't know that they were both in separate situations at the same time. I did know that they both had passed. I did not know that they were in separate situations. I should explain it that way. I don't know. It just, when I got there and found what I did, I was so angry.
I'll bet.
And there was nothing I could do, nothing I could say, nobody I could vent to.
What were you angry about?
Oh, the fact that her mother left her at the house. I mean, that's just total neglect. She wasn't a good mother. I always thought she was a good mother and taking care of my daughter, and then she did that.
What was she thinking?
Yeah, I don't know what she was thinking. And if you're going to go to the store, take your daughter with you. They'd have been dead both that way, too. So
wow.
Maybe the couple of minutes to get my daughter ready to go with her might have saved her life.
Oh, my God, all the what-ifs.
Yeah, there was a lot of what-ifs.
Totally crazy.
All that stuff led me to drugs and alcohol.
What were you saying to yourself that made you want to escape?
I was blaming myself. There was a lot of blame to me. I was blaming myself.
For what?
for the longest time, I blamed myself for the loss of my daughter because of the fact I wasn't in her life that much.
Like if you had been there, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, if I would have been there, it wouldn't have happened. But I know that I had no control over it.
It's amazing how we blame ourselves.
Oh, yeah. Then it's also amazing. I mean, like I said, I went to the drugs and the alcohol. And as a release, but I can honestly tell you that there was no release. When I sobered up, I still had the same problems I had. And if I can help one person, Sharon, if I can help one person stay away from the drugs and the alcohol and realize that that's not going to help them through their loss, I have lived my life's dream just to be able to help one person.
That's 100%, right?
Yeah.
I get it. So what happened after that? How did you wean yourself off of the medication?
And I decided one day that I needed to straighten my head up. And it just hit me one day. It's not my fault. These things aren't helping me. The drugs and alcohol, the medication was not helping me at all. I had to learn to help me. So in studying other people and how they handled things and studying what the alcohol was actually doing to me, I just decided, hey, I don't want it. I don't want it. There's another part of my life now. I've got grandkids and I've got kids that are in my life that I can't do those stupid things anymore. I got a beautiful granddaughter that just came in to sit down with me.
Mm-hmm.
So drugs and alcohol weren't helping me at all. And it was time to say, hey, grow up. Quit looking for an escape. You've got to face reality. So over the past 25 years, I've actually taken the time, as I said, to look at other people and how they dealt with bereavement. And not everybody goes that way. Bereavement's hard. But there's people that say, hey, I know I need the help, and it's time to turn to somebody instead of trying to self-medicate.
It's amazing what we go through in life.
Yeah, I know that because of the fact that I have taken the time to look at other aspects of bereavement and I've studied bereavement, the different aspects, I can help other people because there's bereavement process. There's got 5 different stages. And you know, the worst part about it is you can hit all 5 of those stages at one time.
You're talking about like the Kubler-Ross stuff, the denial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hit the denial, you can hit the anger, you can hit all of it at once. Not everybody hits it all at once.
It's not a straight line, is it?
No. There's no way you can say, okay, I'm going to do this. And everybody has their individual way of dealing in the bereavement. It's totally individual. So I can tell one person this will help them, but yet I listen to another person and, okay, that's not going to help you, but this will. And I took the time to write a book called Understanding the Bereavement Process. And hopefully that book will help a lot of people understand the steps of bereavement, of the bereavement process, and learn from what I've written.
That sounds wonderful. I didn't realize you had done that. That's terrific.
Oh, yeah. The book even shows you ways that you can help somebody else going through bereavement.
I just recently was talking to a woman, she's a young woman in her mid-20s, who was dumped by her boyfriend. And she was going through all those stages, of loss. The denial, the anger, the bargaining, the depression. What was hard for her to deal with is because, at this point, we've been taught in our culture that there are these stages that you deal with when you're dealing with loss. And the thing that was difficult was, well, gosh, I think I got all the way to this step. How come I'm feeling the anger all over again? How come I'm in denial all over again? It's as if, it's a straight line. It's a ladder that you climb and you're done, but you're not. You're not. You cycle back over. And like you said, you could be in more than one step at the same time.
That's right.
I think it's really shocking to people. You know how we always use the metaphor in the training that the path from one place to another, like an airplane, 92% of the time they're off the chart. They're not on the direct route. They go back and forth, back and forth. And it's the same thing with loss, whether it's a loss of a person, a pet, a friend, a boyfriend, a husband, a job,
right.
Even the loss of a job or the loss of a limb. Those
Right.
stages are all there, and they happen haphazardly sometimes. It doesn't happen directly, and I don't think people realize that we're such an accomplished, driven society that we think, okay, these are the stages, I should be through them already. But I'm not. I'm not.
I had somebody the other day I was speaking to, one of the coaches I was working with, and she didn't realize everything that she read to me or that she was telling me about herself told me that she was still dealing with bereavement.
Right.
And in mentioning it to her, she says, I didn't think about it. I didn't realize it. But thank you for sharing it with me.
What kind of loss was she dealing with without saying who she was?
It had been several years since a divorce.
Right.
And then she had recently lost a job.
Yep.
And believe it or not, losing a job will cause bereavement.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. A lot of people don't realize that there's so many things that will cause bereavement, as
Right.
you were saying earlier. It's a hard thing to deal with. Well, when she realized it, she said she hadn't laughed in quite a while. And I mean, we had a conversation, and I said a couple of things, helped her, and she started laughing, and she was starting to feel better just because I helped her to realize the stage she was in.
It was human and okay. And if you just go around it, it's like creating a boil in your system, and the thing is still there, tucked under your skin and festering. And unless you deal with it, I mean, you can cover it up, you could wear something over it, and maybe people don't see it, but it's still doing its work.
That's right.
And it's hurting.
Oh, yeah. It's not an easy thing to realize, especially when you've got a situation that you think friends are helping you by talking. They'll do what they can do to help you. But if they've never been where you are to where they know what to say or how to help you, the only help they're giving you is being a friend. They're not helping you with the problems that you're dealing with, but they're being a friend for you. I say that because of the fact I know that back when I had the situation that I had, people would say, I'm sorry to hear about your loss. I got to a point that I was so angry. I got violent over hearing those words, I'm sorry about your loss. Well, what do you know about my loss? I was angry. They weren't doing anything wrong by saying that. But the stage that I was in at that time was not allowing me to understand that they were only trying to help. It wasn't that they were being nasty with me or angry or putting me down or anything else. They didn't know how to help me.
And it brings up their own fears, their own not dealing with losses they've had in their lives because they didn't know how to do it. It's a really heavy-duty topic because everyone deals with loss at some point. What you dealt with was extreme.
Right.
So no wonder it was so upsetting. And it's scary to people. They don't know what to do. They just don't know what to do. It's like they can't bear it.
Yeah. So now I'm here and I can help people because of that. Because I've been through it. I understand it. And I'm willing to help people.
And that's a blessing, Shawn. It's a real blessing that you want to do that and you can help people. So how do people get in touch with you if they would like to talk with you? Maybe they know someone, whether it's themselves or if they know someone they know is dealing with something that's struggling, or even if they're not struggling that much, they could value from talking, just getting to talk about it. Oh my God, it's like having a cleanse, right?
Correct. I've actually got a site called personaltouchcoach.com.
Personaltouchcoach.com. Mm-hmm.
If somebody is dealing with the loss of a child, they can go to childlossspecialist.com.
Childlossspecialist.com. That's great.
And if they've lost a pet, I can help them with the loss of a pet also. And that's at petlossspecialist.com.
So the best ones are childlossspecialist.com and petlawspecialist.
Correct. And I've also got a phone number that they can contact me through.
Let's hear.
And that's 330-349-2771.
330-349-2771.
Correct. If I don't answer, they can leave a message, and I will get back to them as quickly as I can.
And you know, Shawn, I was so impressed with how hard you worked and how dedicated you were. You were calling into classes and to supervision from every day, all day long. You were able to stop driving and talk to people, and you got through the program faster than most people, which was very impressive. You know, you just kind of plowed right through. You did your work. You were dedicated. You were committed. You were paying attention. You were very giving of yourself as well as of your problems, and you were very open and honest, and it's really special.
Well, thank you.
And you passed the test the first time you took it. It's great.
And believe it or not, I took that test, passed the test, and I didn't even open a book.
Just from paying attention to all the classes.
That's right. Going to as many classes as I could be at helped me get through that test. So
awesome.
I can tell you that I was very happy with the class, and I will still be in all the classes I can be in, because just because I graduated doesn't mean I won't be there.
Yeah, and you know, we want people to be there ongoing, especially that first year when they're learning, and you learn by experience. So you're going to be trying out all the different things you tried in the class, and as you continue trying them out with workshops and trying the different exercises and stuff, you're going to figure out what works and what doesn't, and you're going to come into some snags, and what's better than having a place of friends to come and discuss it with and get supervision.
That's right. And then you also get the opportunity to help others.
Right.
Because somebody needs somebody to practice with. Well, guess what? You can help others, and I'll tell you what, even when you're helping others, it's helping you.
I really believe that.
I had somebody call me yesterday that hadn't had the opportunity to practice coaching number 2. And I'll tell you what, she asked some questions in ways that, okay. She asked the questions in a way that it even dug deeper than the questions that are on the information.
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you what, it made me stop and think.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a new student.
We learn from each other.
And I'm saying, wow. I really didn't think about it. She was very helpful and very loving the way she asked the questions. Well, I was pleased.
That's awesome. So any last thing you might want to tell people before we begin to wind down?
If I can help anybody stay away from the drugs, the alcohol, stay away from thinking that they can do it themselves, I'm here to help.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shawn. And it comes through. It really comes through. And I value that in you very much.
Thank you. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate Glenn.
Yeah, we do too.
I thank both of you from the bottom of my heart for helping me get to the position I'm at today.
So nice to hear, Shawn, and we're delighted and proud, and we're there for you, and we'll help you any way we can. So thank you very, very much, and we'll see you on a supervision call.
That you will.
Okay. Enjoy your granddaughter and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Sarah.
Take care. Have a great day.
Oh, I will. You have a great day, too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Thanks very much for your time and attention. If you'd like to find out more about taking your coaching to the next level, getting certified, and building the practice of your dreams, please visit becomearealcoach.com. 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 Thank you.